Today I'm going to show you the process of how to remove the gas tanks on a KTM 990 Adventure. Or is it petrol tanks? Or fuel tanks? Whatever you call them. Stay tuned. Alright, before I start this video, I just want to say two things. If you hear my air conditioning unit kick on, forgive that background noise. The temperature is like 90 degrees, 80% humidity, so the temperature's set on hell here in South Carolina. Pretty rough. And if you see me sweating a lot, please forgive that too. It's out of my control. I just thought this video might help someone. Now I know there's not a lot of 990s left out there, but it's hard to find information on them. So I just want to go over how to remove the fuel tank. It's the same process for left and right. Today I'm removing the left, but I'll give you some pointers of what you got to do different on the right versus the left. The left has a lot more connections on it, so it's a harder tank to do. Sometimes you have to remove them for oil changes, but today I'm removing it to change the fuel filters and possibly put a new fuel pump in. It's been running fine, but I don't know the history of when the last time that stuff was done, and that's a major reason why KTM fuel pumps go bad. So I was going to do this video with fuel pump rebuild and the tank removal, but I'm going to do them in two separate videos. So if you want to check out how to rebuild a fuel pump on a KTM 990, 1090, 1190, and 1290, it's all pretty much the same. Stay tuned. I'll probably have the same clothes on. No, I'm not being dirty. Just filming them all in one day. Just didn't want to make this video too long. The first process, you got to take the seat off. Just like that. And then I'll show you close up, because the worst part about taking the tanks off, I don't have a quick disconnect for this glove box yet. It's taking this goddamn glove box off. It's the most pain in the butt, but I'll get you a close up of the screws, and then I won't try to do that on camera because I'll show you why in just a second. All right, like I said, on this glove box, you got, I think it's a Torx T20 right there, so that's 2. You got 1 right there, 1 on the other side just like that, so that's 4. You got 2 right here, which is 6. That top cover comes off, and then you'll have 2 more screws under there. And you also got some screws that hold your fuse box or your fuse block in. You got to take that screw out so the fuse block stays on to the bike. All that pulls off. So you just got to be real careful, especially with these 2 screws, because you will drop them down in to the frame. Don't ask me how I know. It's a pain in the butt. They do make a quick connect for this, which a lot of you out here, if you got 990s, you probably already have one. I need to do that. Stock air box is the way I'm keeping it, but hopefully quick disconnect will work. But let me get this off. Like I said, you got 2, 4, 6 screws, 2 back under there, 2 right there. So it's a lot. It's a pain in the butt. That's the worst part about it. And then we'll get to the next process. I forgot about these 2 screws down here. You got 1 there, 1 there, and you will have 2 on your fuse block. Mine was just missing 1. The previous owner lost it. But a tip on these right here, if you just loosen them up, you can slide this whole little tray that's laying on the ground, you can slide it back. And the screws are like wood top screws on these, and these are machined down in here. So don't take many turns to get them out. It ain't quite as aggravating the 3rd time around, so maybe it gets easier. Let me get the rest of this off, then we'll get to the tank. All right, all that's off, and that's all you got to do if you wanted to change the air filter. So not that hard. It took me about, I don't know, maybe 5-6 minutes, maybe something like that. But right here on the tank, you got an Allen screw here. If your bike's got, your 990's got crash bars on it, you got an Allen screw with a 10mm nut on the back. You got, my particular crash bars has this cross piece, so I got to take that loose off of that one. And I got to take that Allen bolt out right there. I take the 2 10mm Allen bolts out of your skid plate, drop the skid plate down. That's all it is. There's 2 bolts in there. Just let it hang down. You ain't got to take it all the way off. And then up here, you got an Allen screw there, Allen screw there, and an Allen screw there. You don't have to take this panel off from down there. Just take that off. Take all that loose, and the whole tank will be loose. And I'll show you how to do the fuel lines just in a second. But I'll go over it again. Like I said, Allen screw, Allen screw, Allen screw, Allen screw. Got to take that Allen screw out for the crash bar. Crash bar has got to come off, so you got an Allen screw there. I got to take my cross piece. Some of these crash bars don't have that. 2 10mm bolts to drop that skid plate down. All these crash bars are going to be a little bit different on these bikes, I think, but all of them is going to hook up right here, and you do got a little spacer right there, so be careful. And I forgot to mention, you also got 1 more tank bolt there, And that actually goes through the crash bar as well. And you got a tank bolt up here. See me getting in a hurry. That's why I try to put out these videos, because with my mistakes, y'all might learn something. Not get in a hurry, that's one thing. There's not too many of these 990s left on the road anymore, but these things are just old school cool and don't have all that electronic bullcrap on them. No ABS, no traction control, all kind of buttons to push every time you crank it. You just get on it, ride it. It's the closest thing to a dirt bike in the adventure world I've found so far. This bike fits my riding style absolutely wonderful. So like I said, I couldn't find hardly any information on the bike. I mean, it shows some pictures, but videos usually do me a lot better as far as tutorial type how-to stuff. So I just want to pass it along so people would know, hey, because these old girls need to stay on the road. This old school stuff is dying out, and that's not good. So, but let me pull all these screws off, and we'll get to the next part. Just thought I'd add that in. On this bolt right here on the bottom, you got this little spacer. Goes in between the tank ear and the frame. You'll see it under there. Just make sure you keep track of all your spacers, because I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm just passing on stuff, like I said. So mistakes I make, you won't make, or vice versa. That's why I watch YouTube videos. That's why I try to make stuff like this. I'm not no professional mechanic. I just play one on YouTube. So take this for what you will, but just trying to give you a basic man step by step, I guess. All right, you got to pull one bolt out and we'll get this tank off. I went ahead and unplugged the fuel pump right there. It's pretty easy to get to under here. That way I didn't have to try to reach way under the tank while I'm trying to get it off. Something very, very important to remember. You got a cut-off valve right here for your fuel and one on that side. Just twist them in, cut both sides off. I'm gonna drain this tank out before I take it off, but right now I'm gonna close both sides and just get the fuel to stop flowing, because if not, you're gonna make a mess. It's pretty simple. Don't over tighten them, just turn them in, and there it is. And then we're gonna have a couple connections behind here that's connected to the tank that I got to take off. One, like I said, I unplugged the fuel pump down there already and unhooked this vent hose. It's a squeeze clamp. There's a vent hose right there. It's going to have to be unhooked, and you're going to have to unhook your fuel line, turn signal wire. I'm gonna try to show y'all how I'm gonna do this as I pull it off. I'm gonna lean the tank up against my knees and do it. It's gonna be kind of aggravating to film it up close and do it at the same time, because I'm doing this by myself, but I'll explain all the connections back there if you can't see them good on camera, but I'll try my best. All right, hopefully y'all gonna be able to see. And don't forget to unhook your fuel line under there too. I forgot to mention that. So this is gonna, this ain't got much fuel in this tank. I didn't drain it out. Put that thing, we can grab it, because there's a lot of lines under there. You got to disconnect the vent right there, the turn signal, another vent down there, and then disconnect your fuel line. You got a vent hose up in there too. I'll have to flip this tank over and show you, because it's gonna be hard to film this on camera. All right, there it is. Like I said, you got a vent hose here. Hope y'all can see that. Vent hose here, turn signal. You got your quick connect for your fuel line for your fuel pump itself, the electrical connection, and you got your low fuel light connection, and another vent right here. Seems like a lot, but it ain't that bad really. And it's the first time I took the left one off, so it ain't that bad. All right, normally you would have to take this tank off to do an oil change. I know that's pretty crazy, because you got an oil tank right here. You got a filter up in here, but this one has a CJ Designs drain hose on it. So once I take my skid plate off, I only had to take the left or the right tank off to do oil changes. It's recommended you do this about every 2 times at least to change that strainer in there. I've heard of some people never doing it and just draining it out of there every time, because you do got a filter under here, a screen on the other side. Got plenty of filtration, and this has nothing to do with the normal bike either. That dangling right there, I zip tie that to my pump. That's for my kickstand switch eliminator. That's pretty much it right there. Get to the side of the air box. Like I said, you don't have to do all that to change air filter. It's pretty simple bike to work on, really. I think they just get a bad rap for being difficult to work on once you got some stuff in place. Pretty simple, about like every other bike, to be honest with you. All right, that's pretty much it on how to remove the fuel tanks from a KTM 990. Like I said, the other side's the same. Got about the same 1, 2, 3 vents, but you don't have all those electrical connections. So the right tank's a lot easier to get off. like I said, there's really no use to ever take it off. Only thing you would take this one off for is to do that oil screen every once in a while and to work on your fuel pump. And KTM recommends on all their bikes to change the fuel filters a lot, which is probably not a bad idea on any bike, to be honest with you, especially with today's crappy fuel. Even though I run 93, the best stuff I can find in here most of the time, still don't guarantee anything. Like I said, I just don't know the history of this bike that well, and I'm trying to make it as bulletproof as possible because I actually love this bike and still got a lot of big trips I want to do, so just trying to make it as bulletproof as possible, like I said. But that's pretty much it for this one. Stay tuned. I'm gonna have to charge the camera up and I'm gonna film the video of actually rebuilding the fuel pump. I've never done it, but it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, y'all might know more stuff than me. Not here to be a professional, just here to pass on my knowledge and people learn from my mistakes. So as always, appreciate y'all watching. If you hadn't already, hammer the shit out of that subscribe button and that notification bell so you'll be alerted when new content comes out. See y'all in the next one. Stay tuned. Turn into that fuel pump rebuild video. Appreciate y'all.